Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, October 4th, 2021. First thing I want to talk about is how's the sound doing? We were having some problems with the sound last time. It was miserable. I sorry to do that to you guys. Let me know in the chat how it is today. Hopefully, we're sounding better. I'm not really sure. I have no idea. I have no idea what's really gonna what's going to happen with the sound today. But we'll try it. Hopefully it'll sound good. While you guys are letting me know how it sounds for today, though, I do want to say hi to everyone listening on the podcast version. All right. Vivek says that today is good. Terry says, hello, clear. Awesome. Good. Jutara Kujo says sound is good. All right. So let's get going. Then. Everyone listening on the podcast version. Hopefully you guys are having a great run out there today. If you're in your taper, hopefully it's nice and easy. Hopefully, you're at the point where you're just feeling fantastic during your runs and you want to push a little bit harder because you feel so good. Hold it back. Save it for the weekend because we got two big races coming up this weekend. We saw a wonderful race get to go off last weekend and the weekend before. So it's just like a buffet of marathon races and lots of other races. It's absolutely crazy. So hopefully you guys are having a good run out in podcast land. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you're sitting back with a nice recovery beverage. I got some afternoon coffee because today, what I'm going to do for the Monday Mukbang is go over some marathon treats. My wife made a bunch of oatmeal cookies last night. She also made chocolate chip cookies because the kids don't like the oatmeal cookies. Yeah, and this is something that I love to eat before runs, especially before long runs when I'm going to drive to a long run. I'll grab like a handful of them, usually fill up like a little Tupperware of them, and then like have them like right next to me in the car as I'm driving to a run. And then I'll try to, if I can, save one for afterwards so I can have one as a post race. But we're going to have some for today's Monday Mukbang. Stevie76 says, my wife, let's get the sound. I think it's this one. There we go. Stevie76 says, buffet. Yeah, buffet. JC says he can hear the ocean today. I do have a fan on, so maybe that's where that ocean sound is coming from. I'm not sure. All right, let's see. What else do you guys have here? Frank says he doesn't have much in terms of what he likes to have before a marathon or a race. He says a cup of yerba mate and a dark chocolate bar, maybe. Oh, I like that idea. Dark chocolate. That's interesting. He says usually too nervous to eat much on race days, and I usually do the morning runs fasted. Yeah, I'm usually pretty much fasted on the runs. Although these days, now with the new school schedule, and me being like a stay-at-home dad and stuff now, I've been eating breakfast in the morning, taking the kids to school, and then going for a run right after. So I'm not always fasted anymore, I guess. I guess I can't say that. Ina says, hi, Kapuzi, everybody. Listening as I'm working tonight, but I did fit in a 5K with Pip. Pip is the guy. Pip is the dog in the suit here in the photo. But did a 5K with Pip before coming back out to work. And work is very busy, so it's into overtime mode, I'm afraid. Well, hopefully you can get through that quickly, and it's not too hard on you. All right. JC says, hello to all. Hope the weekend was good. Coffee and a science and sport gel are the usual pre-race. Not much of a treat, really. No, that doesn't sound like too much of a treat. Although the coffee before a race, definitely, I would enjoy that for sure. You know what I saw the other day? I should have put it on this computer so you guys could see it. Well, let me. You guys can go and look for it. But I was looking at science and sport on Amazon the other day. I can't remember. Oh, I was buying some more stuff for to get ready for the live streams for Chicago Marathon weekend that I'm going to do. And I was on there, and then there was a color of science and sport that I'd never seen before, pineapple. I don't know if it's always been that, but it's like a different color packaging. And I was like, what is that? So I was just looking at it, and I was scrolling through the pictures, and then, you know, like in science and sport, like a lot of times with gels, they show people like running as like an example. Like if you buy these gels, you can run, or if you buy these gels, you can cycle for a long time. And I'm pretty sure one of the pictures, it's the Welsh runner, is like the model for science and sport gels. Am I wrong on that? Has anyone else seen that before? I don't know. I'm pretty. It's got to be him. So I don't know if anyone else has ever noticed that, or if that's already like well known and established. But I don't know. It's the first time I ever saw it. Martha says, "What would you all do if your start time was like around 10:45?" Yeah, that's a weird start time. That's a little bit later in the day. I'm used to very early start times. I would definitely eat a lot of breakfast before that. maybe even like a pretty hearty breakfast. But I don't know, that's just me. I love breakfast. It'd be like, I'm always like, well, I'm not always. Usually for running, I just don't have time. But on like a weekend day, I'm usually like, how much breakfast can I fit in before my kids wake up? Because then I know I'm going to eat breakfast with the kids. So I try to have like 2 breakfasts. All right, let's get to some of these cookies. So my wife made oatmeal cookies. They came out real thin this time. A lot of times they come out like super thick and almost like chewy. But I think my wife made them really thin because she knows I like crunchy cookies more than I like soft cookies. And she put dried cranberries in here. So that's what we got. Oatmeal. My favorite way of eating oatmeal as a cookie. I don't like regular oatmeal in a bowl like that looks like porridge, but oatmeal cookie. Cheers. Dried cranberries. But even though they're thin, they're not that crunchy. It's still pretty like soft. But it's nice. I'm not silly enough to like review my wife's cookies on the internet, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say they're really good. She made me a big bucket of them, and I'm the only one that's going to eat these. But I don't know if this is going to last till Sunday, to be honest, because like every time I walk by this container, I always like sneak one or two. But man, they're good. I don't know if they're more delicious because I know my kids won't eat them. But my wife also made like a container of chocolate chip cookies, and I probably won't eat a single one of these because I know my kids will eat them. One of my daughters, my older daughter, she's very independent. She got up early today, saw the cookies, and then fixed herself a little Tupperware container just full of cookies in it. And then I was like, hey, what do you want for breakfast today? She's like, I'm good, I already ate. I'm like, what did you eat? And like she showed me like the container. I filled this with cookies and I ate it. And I was like, all right, fine, fair enough. I should have paid more attention. And Frank says, on the Science and Sport, it's definitely the Welsh runner. Yeah, I didn't know that. Is he a model? Was he a model at some point? He's a beautiful man. Probably one of the most attractive human beings I've ever seen. But it wouldn't surprise me if someone that runs and is attractive could easily be a running model for that kind of thing, right? So, yeah. Chris C says, my pre-race meal will be a cup of tea, a boba bar, and a banana. Pretty simple and easy on the digestive system. You know, I love the way that people talk about tea. I think I prefer tea culture to coffee culture. I don't know. There's something about it that just seems much more interesting to me about it. But I just don't love tea, I guess. I should have made more coffee. I'm almost out of my coffee. But I don't know. I think that if I lived in Europe for a while and just got used to having more tea than coffee, then I think I would easily cross over. But for me right now, definitely into the coffee. This morning we were walking. I was walking the kids to school, and you know, it's a neighborhood school, so like in the morning everyone's kind of walking their children about the same time, and my younger daughter tends to end up like encountering her other classmates as we go, and that's something that happened again today, and it always makes her super excited, and I like it because otherwise she has the attention span of a 5-year-old and gets very distracted. But when her friends are there, then like they get distracted with each other and they just walk really well the entire rest of the time. And we end up seeing one of her friends. And as we walk by a Starbucks, the baby goes, that coffee smells good today. And I was just like, coffee does smell good today. And then the other mom of my daughter's friend like turned around and said, the coffee does smell good today. And then I looked at her shirt, and it was one of those like happiness is chemical type of shirts on it, and it had the molecular structure of caffeine on the front. I'm pretty sure it was caffeine. I think it was caffeine. It didn't actually label it in terms of what the molecular structure was, but I think I recognized caffeine. So I think that's what it was. So I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, there you go. Monday morning, mom walking a kid to school wearing the caffeine molecular diagram on the shirt. She definitely wants more coffee. Runner Ray says, happy Monday. I'm having my lunch and having an afternoon coffee. That's cool. You know what? I'm really happy to be seeing you guys today because, well, I'm always happy to see you guys on Monday. But specifically in like these four corners, because with Instagram down and Facebook down, WhatsApp down, like that's not related to this. But as I was trying to schedule this live stream, the website StreamYard that I use was like, oh, we're having some technical difficulties. We've been aware of it for about 50 minutes, which is when I was like trying to schedule the live stream for today. And that was how long the Instagram outage was. And I was like, oh, is there some sort of like, like infrastructure thing that's down? It's like, is it like like when Amazon Web Services goes down, like that kind of thing that's affecting more than just those 3 apps. And I had to like try multiple times to get this live stream scheduled, so I didn't know what was going on. So I'm really glad that like it's working. I mean, if all else failed, YouTube's still working, so we would have been able to just do it through YouTube. But then I can't like have your like comments show up if I just use the YouTube thing. So. Rick Sutter says, hey fellow Kapuzians, was actually able to make the live stream today, giving online tests to my classes. Oh, okay, there you go. Rick, you were just saying you can't watch and teach at the same time. I think that was you, right? So I'm glad that today you found there's a way. Awesome. Jeff Elliott says, hello. What's going on, Jeff? Terry says, my wife, where's the sound? Terry says, my wife made oatmeal biscuits at the weekend that I ate. It was not until afterwards I found out they were for sending to my son at university. Oops. That's so funny. You ate the kids' food. Well, did you race this weekend, Terry? I thought you said I can't remember if you said you raced. But if you had a good run, then your wife's gonna always have to just make those oatmeal biscuits for you then. Martha says, is all that stuff down? I don't have any of those, so I don't know. What's up with that? Yeah, Instagram is down, WhatsApp, and Facebook. Now, I thought that I had done something wrong because I had just uploaded like a video to Facebook. Not Facebook, I don't use Facebook. I just uploaded something to Instagram, and I wanted to check on the performance of it, and like the minute that I did, like all of a sudden it looked like my account got deleted because all I could see was my face and then no posts. And it didn't show, like, a lot of my data wasn't. I was like, oh, what did I do? But then I found out that Facebook was down, and then Instagram was down, and then WhatsApp. I've never used WhatsApp before, so I don't know, but I heard because it was reported on the news, like TV news. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Where did it go? Jeff was saying something about it where he thinks. Oh, Jeff says I suspected it was Cloudflare, which is anti-DDoS front end that is used by a bunch of different websites and services. Oh. I understand like half of that sentence, but I think I know what you're saying. Interesting. All right. Jay from LA says, hope you had a great weekend. Did my first 26.2 long slow distance last Saturday. I was aiming for my first trial on 10:30. Awesome. Where do we go? Cowbell for that one. Long run PR. Great job. Awesome. All right. Going on 10:30. I mean, that's a long run to do for 10:30. Well, good job. Jackie says, I'm hyped for Chicago and Boston Marathon, and I'm running neither. Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for it. And I was telling my wife the other day that I'm like getting like emotional about these races that are finally getting to go and everything. And just somehow in my mind, it's been connected to like, it's like been a way of like thinking about these races coming back has been like connected to a way of like grieving for me, for like all the people that have died over the last year and a half. It's just there's no other like arena where my brain like can like conceive of all like the carnage. And like for some reason when I think about like the races coming back and like we're all still here, we made it, that makes me think about that, and I feel really sad. And in a really strange dorky way, it always reminds me of like when when Alderaan blew up, and then like Obi-Wan and Yoda are like, whoa, what was that? I just felt a disturbance in the force. It just feel like that kind of weird feeling. I'm super dorky thing to say, but when I think about the races coming back, there's a lot of emotions that are happening, and they don't really make sense together. But that's kind of what I'm feeling. So when I see these races happening, I'm just super excited, and they're very strangely emotional. I was watching the Running Channel. That's the British one, right? They're both right. There's Run Experience, that's the one out of San Francisco, and then there's Running Channel. They're in England. And Anna, is it Anna? She ran the Berlin Marathon, and she had a real tough time out there. Did you guys watch that? Man, I was feeling that. Yeah, I related to that one so much. I don't know. So I was like, I've been like an emotional wreck this past weekend, I guess. So, but I'm overall very excited, very excited to see these races happen again, and to see all you guys again, and do another Kafuzi Run Club in person. So I'm pretty excited about it all. Jared Crane says the weather's looking a little hot for Sunday. I think it's gonna be hot. I think it's gonna be humid. Okay, let's see here. We got some. It's really dark. I'm trying to lighten it up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it is going to be humid. It might rain. I think the best case scenario would be if it rained a little bit and then cooled everything off. Because yesterday it rained for a little while. It was humid all morning, and then it rained for a bit, and everything cooled off, and it felt great. So I think that would be the best case scenario. That was the weather we had in 2018, I think. Although after it rained, then it got hot. But it did rain, and for a little while after it rained, it was just beautifully nice weather. So we'll see what the weather's going to be like. I mean, who knows? It's probably going to change a couple more times between here and then, but I'm expecting a warm day, whether it's warm temperature or feels warm because of humidity. But I think the humidity will have some, and I think it's going to sneak up on a lot. That's why I've been trying to tell people that every day on Twitter, like it's going to be humid. Because I feel like a lot of people that are coming from not humid areas are just going to be like, oh, 65 degrees, 70 degrees, perfect, I love that temperature. But if you're 65 or 70 degrees and not humid, that's different than 65 or 70 degrees humid. People are going to go out too hard. So that's what I'm trying to warn people. Let's see, we got a whole bunch of questions here. Let me see if I get to them. Sorry, I'm like way behind you guys. Lux says, hi Kafuzi, my husband and I are running our first marathon in Chicago this coming Sunday. Maybe we'll catch at the finish. Like, awesome, Lux. That's great. Good. Congratulations on getting ready for your first marathon. Was it first marathon ever or first marathon in Chicago? Either way, I hope you guys have a really great time. And that's cool that you're running on the same time, same day. That's so cool. All right. Christy says, thank you for connecting these feelings we're having to Star Wars. I feel like it's a very useful metaphor. I'm not saying I feel like that I am someone that has a high level of midichlorians and can sense when people are dying, but I'm just saying the feeling is a wave. It's overwhelming. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Dylan says, is the mic not on? It is. I guess I was mumbling a little bit. Sorry. Yes, last time we just had so many problems with it being too hot. So today I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know why it's giving me so much trouble. Yeah, Jeff Ellie says, I watched that running channel video. 3:53 to 3:30, and she was a mess. By the end of the video, I was a mess. I know. Because we've all felt that before. I've had that feeling before. And I can also relate to the idea, which I don't think she talked about, and I don't know, maybe I should reach out and see if I can interview her about it. But I'd love to get, I've been at that place where people are following you for a race, and that's not a thing. I mean, lots of people, we all have people that are following us and supporting us, but when a brand is putting money behind it, and they want to have a really great narrative, and you want to do well for them, and you feel like you're letting them down, when you're 2/3 of the way through the race and you're nowhere close to doing what you were supposed to be doing, that's a tough feeling, and that weighs heavy. And so when she was stuck out there, I know that stuck feeling. It really stinks. All right. Frank says, Anna is always good for the suffer vid. Makes you feel like a sadist. That's funny. Adam says, that running channel video of Berlin was brutal. Did not exactly fill me with confidence for my first marathon in 10:17. You know what though? I'm glad. I was glad to see it, because I was like, you know what? I'd seen a bunch of everyone that I saw in Berlin had a great day, right? So I was like, in my mind, for me, the taper crazy is not me being stir crazy. It's all right. Before the taper, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna line up with the 3:10 group. Maybe I'll line up with the 3:05 group. Maybe I'll line up with the 3:15 group. If you give me a long enough taper, I'll convince myself that I can run with a 2:55. You know what I'm saying? And so like that, I see like Berlin. Everyone had a great day. Welsh runner, for example, went out there and like jogged his way to like a 2:35 or something ridiculous. Um, and so like my mind is like, oh, you can run faster. And I was like, I don't know. I kind of need to see someone really have a bad day. Not that I want anyone to have a bad day, but if they're going to, please put it on video. So I was like, I need that, like someone to ground me back to reality and kind of remind me where I should be standing, when I start the race. And by the way, I looked at my participant account again today for Chicago Marathon, and I also looked at the pace groups. Corral A only has one pace group, 3 hours, and I was like, I thought I was in Corral A. I was like, I think I'm definitely not going to line up with the 3 hour pace group, so I might have to hide in Corral B. But then I was like, no, I'm actually Corral B. So I'm in Corral B, and I'm probably gonna. I'm still not sure 305 or 305 or 310. I think it's gonna depend on just what the weather's like that day, and how I'm feeling on that morning. It'll be kind of a game time decision, but at least I'll be in the right corral for it. So. Yeah. Jackie May says, one more question. What's your shoe for Chicago Marathon? I know I asked before, but maybe you've changed your mind since. No, I haven't changed my mind. I think I haven't really thought about it too much either, which has kind of like been nice. I've been watching both Dr. Josh and Emily Heller, like going back and forth over what they're going to be wearing for the Chicago Marathon, and I'm like, I'm glad I'm pretty well decided on it. I also think part of it is because I have 2 marathons coming up in pretty quick succession. Someone was saying there's like 8 weeks or something like that till CIM, which doesn't seem to me, but CIM's pretty soon. So I've got CIM and I've got Chicago Marathon. So the 2 that I was thinking in between makes it easy. I'm going to run in the Metaspeed Sky. And then for CIM, I'm probably going to run in the Adios Pro 2. Yana's here. She says, hey everyone, how's everyone doing? I have another cookie now, right? Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? First day in Prague and a new school done. Something's wrong with the microphone call. Okay. See, you guys, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I'll turn it up a little bit more. But I don't know. There's something that's happening between the USB sound interface, which hears me great, and is what I'm hearing of myself. And then it goes to the computer, and the computer does something, and the microphone gets weird. Dr. Josh says, I just want to be exact. Love it. I think of the people that I know that are running. I think you've got the best shot. What's he thinking about coming in at? That's interesting. I tried to get him to sit down for an interview, but I don't think he was interested. So I did want to talk to him. I think he's very interesting. Dr. Josh says he's going to skim fade the mullet and dye the mustache for Chicago. Oh my goodness. That's going to be amazing. Super cool. Super cool. Alright, we've got... Frank says that running guy's London video is a great one too. He starts off all smile. Yeah, I saw... I don't know, somehow I knew the result as I was watching the video. I think I saw it on the result on Twitter, and then I saw his video. So I knew he was coming. But, hopefully no spoilers. But, it was just like... He's like, wow, went up really fast that first 5K, but I'm feeling really good. And then the next check-in, he's like, still going super fast, but feeling really good. And then I was like, went in the half and 1:32.50, still feeling really good. And then the next clip is like, oh, I'm not feeling so good. Which I've been there before too. I've done that. I've definitely done that before too. So, yeah. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to watch when people are doing that. Because you want them to be able to hold on and keep hanging with it. Terry says, the London Marathon lottery is open. Sorry to repeat myself. No problem. I did sign up for the lottery. The good for age is only applicable to UK residents, or I guess, I don't know if it's UK or Great Britain. I'm not sure which one it is. And frankly, I'm not always certain what the difference is. So I don't think I have a good for age time. But anyway, I did applied to be in the lottery for international applicants. And I also applied to be in the lottery for the Berlin Marathon today, too, because that's also open. And there's two weird things about each of those. So I signed up for the London Marathon lottery, and they asked some really specific race questions, which, I don't know, like, it's very strange. So first it was like, identify your nationality, so it was like American, then or like United States, and then your ethnicity. And I was like, the options were like Asian or Asian British. Like, those were the options. I was like, okay, Asian or Asian British, that's it. I guess I fall under that one. And then it was like, be more specific. There was like literally the next question drop down box was like, be more specific. And it was like India, Cambodia, and somewhere else. And I'm guessing these were like former British colonies. Well, I know India was, but like, I'm guessing that's why they're on that list. And then it was like, and then other. And so then I put other. And then it was like another one that was like, be a little bit more specific still. There was like 3 layers of, I should have screenshotted it, but there was like 3 layers of Asianness questions that followed, and I just didn't understand why. And I was just like, that's, why do they care? It's a very specific request. Like, they were like, where are you from? Where are you coming from? United States? Fine. Now tell me about like your ancestry. What is your provenance? Like, I was just like, really weird. And then for the Berlin Marathon, the weird thing was, here's the option. You can either have, and they were like, and this is non-changeable, irrevocable answer. I think irrevocable was like their word. I don't know if there's something lost in the translation. But you have one, you must choose now, today, even though the race won't be like for a year. You must choose today which one you want. You can have either a gear check bag or a rain poncho. You cannot have both, and whatever you choose today, you cannot switch. If you choose poncho, you cannot have gear check, and if you choose gear check, you cannot have poncho. And that was the option. I don't know why that's the option, but like, and why they're so serious about no switching. But like, I don't know what the deal was with that. But it seemed like it was like a really big deal. It's one of those things where it's like, it was so strangely peculiar and insistent that you're like, who did something and what did they do? Why is this rule here? It'd be like if you came to my house and I was like, you cannot have a specific type of shoe on in my home. And I was like, other shoes you can have on, you can wear them, but you cannot wear a specific type of shoe in my home. Make sure you're not wearing that type of shoe, but any other shoes, okay. You'd be like, I have some follow-up questions, right? So I don't know. I don't know what was up with that. So which is really, really, really strange. And Thomas Mills is like, no take backsies. Yeah. And JC says, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, that's funny. Martha says, did the runner in that video go out too fast, or does he even know what went wrong? I think he went out too fast. I think that's what it was. I don't know what that runner guy's goal time was. But he went out at the first half he hit at 1:32, so he's going like 3:05 pace. And then the second half was not great. Trevor Holtzman says, I was aiming for 2:55 at Chicago, but weather has me thinking more 3:05, just so I can qualify for next year and hope for better PR weather. Yeah, I think that, like, with the weather, I mean, it's not going to... I'll take humid over windy. The windy, for me, it's just... it's so demoralizing. But like the humid, so I'd rather have humidity than windiness. If we have both, that's just gonna be really annoying. But I think since I've been thinking between the 305 and 310 group, I think I'm probably just, if there's two things that you're thinking between, I'd say back up one. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, Stevie76 says, don't be that poncho switcher. Nobody likes a poncho switcher. Not in Berlin. Stephen Green says, I think New York City Marathon does the same thing. I haven't signed up for the New York City Marathon lottery. Well, I think I do sign up for it every year, but I just never pay attention to it. There used to be some controversy over that. There was a time when I think that you had to pay us a nominal fee, and they wouldn't give it to you back if you didn't get in to the New York City Marathon. And I think there was like a class action lawsuit about it or something. So that's why I think all the marathons now are like give us your credit card information so we can run it through if you get selected. But that's why I don't charge you ahead of time, I think. Or at least not in the U.S. Matt says the audio's not okay today. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this thing. Alright, I bumped it up on the settings software side. I'm so sorry, guys. Thomas is like, what if you use a poncho for your drop bag? I don't know. Has anyone been to Berlin? Why is it like that? Yeah. iBlack Brother says, depending on how comfortable you are with the race ethnicity question, you can just lie. Yeah, I mean, you can just lie. But I think there was an answer. I think there was an option for prefer not to say. But, I don't mind answering. It's just weird that it's like 3. It'd be like if it was like, I don't know, the only thing that would make it weirder was if like, now tell me what was your mom like. Then it'd be even weirder. But like that, it's really close. When there's 3 layers of ethnicity question, I just think that's a lot. Vivek says the audio is perfect. Don't mess it up. And there is a fan in the background, by the way, guys. So there's that. It's just I got the windows open. It's a little humid in here today, so I thought I had the fan on. Harakujo says audio was perfect before and you ruined it. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm always going to ruin it. That's just pretty much the way to go. I'm going back to what it was set at before, settings-wise. And Nathan says, is SJD running Chicago? I think he's running New York this year, right? Isn't he? He likes running New York. He's from there. From upstate, but New York. Jackie says, New York City does the same with ponchos or bag check. You decide that 2 weeks from race day. Really? What's the deal with the ponchos? That's one thing that I forgot to put in my Chicago weekend schedule thing for people is the ponchos thing. What I do every year, like the week of the marathon, is I go to like a Walgreens or CVS, like a convenience store, like a drugstore, and I buy like the little rain ponchos because I don't like to wear like actual. Some people show up with like a garbage bag on. I don't like that. There's something about that just makes me feel like claustrophobic. So I usually buy like one of those cheap ponchos that fits on like a little pack. If I end up needing it, I use it. If I don't, it just stays in the gear check bag, and I might usually end up losing it or throwing it away, whatever. So, yeah. So that's something that I usually have there just in case. And if nothing else, like sometimes the ground is damp where you might be sitting, so you can use it to sit down and relax before the race starts without getting your butt wet. That's what I'll do. You know what else I heard about New York? Someone was saying on Twitter that they would love to be able to rerun like any of the. They would love to do like some of the world marathon majors that they run, except for New York City, because they were saying like when you're standing on the bridge, there's an upper level and a lower level. In the lower level, you're getting dripped on by the people's pee from the upper level because there's no porta potties on the bridge. Is that true? I've never run New York. That seems crazy. Seems really crazy. In that case, I would like, give me the poncho. I don't want pee on me. Raynor says, real question. How does anyone run a full marathon? After the half, I feel like it was a perfect distance and I can't imagine running it again. I do love the half marathon, and I think that I love the distance. I love the idea of the marathon more, and it's a bigger like challenge. It's a bigger hill to climb, so to speak. But I think I prefer the distance of the half marathon better. I also just don't like that it's called a half marathon. It seems like I've not done as much. But you slow down a little bit, and then that that enables you to run it twice. You can get, if you want to get there, you can get there. You don't have to get there. Fernando Herrera says, I drop in and you already have a mouth full. I'm late. It's alright, Fernando. I'm glad to have you here. Jared Crano says, I'm going to be shooting for a 305 at Chicago. All right, Jared. I'll probably see you in the corral at some point. I'll be there. I don't know if I'm going to be lining up with you, though. We'll see. Hopefully I'll see you at the finish, like relatively soon after you finish. And JC says, is it true about the pee? Yeah, I don't know if I want to run New York anymore. I think I'll just spectate that one. I'll just watch. That's crazy. Slow Roll says, hey Kofuzi, what's your favorite shorts with pockets these days? Looking for shorts I can carry my phone and gels for the New York City Marathon. I'm a half tights guy, so my favorite ones, I wish that there was a brand that made ones that were that breathe a little bit better, because they're not the most breathable. So if it's hot, they get hot. But the Roadrunner Sports, they make a Challenger half tight, they make a 7-inch and a 9-inch. I prefer the 7-inch. They have side pockets, and I guess because the pants don't breathe as well, the material is thicker, so you can fit in all your gels like on each side. For a marathon, I bring 6, so that's a lot. I brought 6 before and a phone, and I was able to run a marathon with it. So that's the one that I really like. For shorts that are not half tights, I think probably I like Path Projects, but to carry 6, that's a lot. I don't know if any of their shorts can handle 6. Maybe the one with the regular side pockets, but those 5-inch shorts are thin enough that like 3 gels in a pocket, it's gonna like dangle around a little bit. I've been running in a pair of shorts from Decathlon. Evadict is like the brand, like the sub brand. They're trail shorts. They're kind of weird, but they have pockets all around the waist. John G also makes ones with pockets all around the waistband that you could stuff them like the front, side, and then back. So there's a couple like that you can kind of find. But I usually think that the best marathon racing shorts are usually trail shorts if you're not a half tights person. Adam Steve says, my shoe dilemma. Old, but only worn twice pair of Vaporfly Flyknits, where my Tesla long run was a little rough, versus trusty Endorphin Speed. I know my efficiency in the Vaporfly should be better, but maybe riskier. Well, I mean, I would say why was the long run rough? The long run was rough because of the shoes, like your feet were hurting, and that caused other problems. Then I'd say go with the Endorphin Speed. But otherwise, I like the Vaporfly Flyknit. That was a good shoe. So, I think that it depends on why that test long run was a little rough. But if you want to kind of like maximize, be the more conservative in terms of risk, I go with the Endorphin Speed 1 and know that it's a great shoe to race in. Stevie76 is getting peed in the head is good luck. Yeah, you know what I think is funny? I think it's funny, like, the different things that are considered good luck for people are usually things that, like, happen that are terrible, and it's, like, kind of a way of making you feel better about yourself. So I was thinking that, like, I'm surprised it's not a thing where, like, if you get a phantom pain during taper, it's good luck for your race day. I'm surprised that's not, like, a saying somehow. Like, people say, like, if you get pooped on by a bird, it's good luck. If like bird poop lands on your shoulder, it's good luck somehow. I'm like, that's a really nice thing to say to someone who's just had kind of like their afternoon ruined by bird poop, So I think I like what you did there, Stevie76. Terry says he's just crossed the New York City Marathon off his to-do list because of the pee situation. How has that not been a bigger topic before? I don't understand that. That's just absolutely crazy. Dr. Josh, bird poop is good luck. All right. Slow Roll says, I've been looking at the videos from Dirty Old Sneakers channel, and he says the urine from the upper deck is a myth. I don't know. I just feel like New York, though, is... New York, there's just garbage water everywhere. It's a very... New York's a great city. growing up, to me, it was the city, right? When you said the city, New York is what we talked about. I grew up in New Jersey. But it's a dirty city. There's just garbage water everywhere. Like, like me running through puddles of water that wouldn't exist if I lived in New York. Just because there's no way I'm touching anything wet in New York City. I don't know. So, like, if there's something dripping down from another level of somewhere else in New York City, it might as well be urine. Urine's probably one of the better things it can be. Alex Kutulenko says, sorry if it's already been asked, but what's your strategy for hot race days? Something I started doing this year was dumping the water on myself when you go through the aid stations. So I think that, like, I really used to think that was just something that people did that was a little bit pretentious. I'm like, it's not that hot and you're not, like, shooting for gold. So, like, what's the deal with, like, dumping the water on yourself? I did that this year and I was like, oh, it really helps you keep going. So that's part of it. The other thing is, you gotta treat it like, like the course just got a little bit hillier. It's gonna affect your pace. So, even down to something as short as like a 10,000 meter, like the 10,000 meters on the track. Remember, they changed the time of that for the U.S. track trials because the heat is gonna affect it so much. So it plays a big difference. So I would say, like, turn everything down a notch because the heat's really gonna take it out of you. Jennifer Herring says, I ran New York City 11 times in person and was on top and bottom of the bridge and never got peed on. It does seep towards the edge of the bridge as people pee on your level. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to visualize this thing. I'm going to have to go look at people's New York City marathons and to see, like, if there's any videos of it on YouTube. Because it's just like, I'm trying to envision the situation where there's all these people and no porta potties and you're just peeing. I don't know. Have you guys ever been to LaGuardia? It kind of just sounds like you're describing LaGuardia to me, too. I just really don't like that airport. But, I don't know. So maybe it is a thing. I don't know. Nathan says, what part of New Jersey are you from? We moved around a little bit. We grew up in, when I was real little, we were in Middlesex County. In Madison County, I think they're pretty close. That's where my dad went to school. And then we moved down to the Jersey Shore in Monmouth County. And then, like, near Sandy Hook. And then, or Long Branch. Oh, we're in Eatontown. It's like the next town over Red Bank, where View Askew is from, like Jay and Silent Bob, that area. And then graduated from high school over on the west side of the state, on the opposite end. Kind of basically, if you were driving from New York and wanted to go to Hershey Park, one of the last towns on the New Jersey side is where we were. So it was a big deal when we got a Walmart. I remember that happened in 1997, maybe 1996. It was like a huge deal. People cut school that day for the grand opening. But yeah, that's where I'm at. My family now, my parents are in Bergen County, over right where the George Washington Bridge scandal. Well, they're right by the George Washington Bridge, but where that scandal was with Chris Christie. They're right there. They were like 2 blocks. They lived like 2 blocks away from there at the time. Maybe not 2, pretty close. Jeff Elliott says, I did the water thing during my last race. I think it helped, but I should have slowed down more. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna be doing the water thing. I'm gonna try to do it in a way where I don't annoy my fellow racers, because I think I slowed down a little bit too much to do that, and people behind me I think got mad, or one person behind me got mad. I think. Waihong says LaGuardia has been rebuilt, by the way, brand new now. Yeah, well, they've been rebuilding it for like the last 5 years. But, like, I usually fly Southwest, and so, like, that terminal that you land into, it just looks like a storm just passed through there. The way there's, like, construction, everything's, like, torn open. People are just, like, strewn all about. It's always, like, kind of a weird place, I think. Dr. Joe, you gotta make a marathon myth series? I think that's a good one. That would be a good. I think that's going to be the next. I think that's going to be the game tomorrow. Trivia Tuesday, Marathon Myths. I'm trying to find some marathon. Oh, I think we've done all the fun. The Pete ones are the funnest, I think. We'll have to see. Well, maybe I can come up with some marathon myths. We'll do all true or false tomorrow. I like that. Mo S says, do carbon-plated race shoes make it easier to hold a marathon pace? I don't need to go faster. That's an interesting question. I would say yes. I like it, especially deeper into the run. I just feel like it gives it a little bit more help. Because a lot of times I don't know if it's just the carbon plate. But I think a lot of it is you use the carbon fiber plate with a certain type of springier, softer foam. And in conjunction, those two work really well together. And that's what makes, it's not just the carbon plate that makes a super shoe. And so I think that the two together work well because if it's less impactful on the way to, like, say, mile 20, you're feeling fresher at mile 20, it's going to be easier to hold that marathon pace. So I think, yeah, for me, I'm pretty much, unless they change the rules and make them illegal, I'm pretty much always going to race a marathon in a carbon-plated shoe. Rick wants to know, do they have ice cubes at any of the Chicago Marathon water stations? I don't think I've ever seen that before. That would be new. AJ wants to know, why are some runners running high and some are running low? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what how that works out for the New York City Marathon. I'm not really sure. You know what? I think this is true. I didn't watch this video super carefully, but the Running Channel had a video about the start of the London Marathon. Not everyone takes the same route. It seems like at the beginning, some people go on this street and then cut up, and other people go up and then cut over. Somehow, is that right? I didn't know that. That was weird. I think that would really surprise me if I was running a race and like half the field, one went this way and one went the other. That would freak me out. Ooh, I missed a super chat up above. Sorry, guys. There we go. Oh, here we go. From Jitaro Kujo. Is the Garmin 45 good for Mapatone training? Yeah, for sure. And thanks for the super chat. And I'm sorry that I missed it. Yeah, it is definitely good for Mapatone training. You can do it. For me, I would recommend pairing it with an external heart rate monitor. I don't know if it's my wrist shape or what, but I can't use a wrist-based heart rate monitor. It works for a little bit, and then after that, it'll just start going crazy. So I always do either an armband, one that goes a little bit higher, or up on the bicep, or I use a chest strap. The chest strap is what I primarily like to use, but when it gets cold, then I switch usually over to the armband, and that usually works better in the cold for me. And that's all you really need to be able to do Mapatone training. I mean, if you wanted to, you can just get a heart rate monitor and pair that to if you're always carrying your phone, then just put that to your phone. And then you can use whatever app you're already using to do it that way. So that could be even a little bit cheaper. So that would be another way to do it too. Because I wouldn't ever buy a watch personally because of my issues with the placement of wrist-based heart rate monitors. I would never buy a watch based on the heart rate monitor. It just doesn't work that well for me. So. All right, sorry I missed that one. Thanks for pointing that out to me, guys. And Wayne says, in New York City, there's 3 routes that converge at 8K for crowd control, or at least it used to be that way. That's bizarre. I had no idea. Crazy. Jennifer Herring confirms. Jennifer, I didn't know you had ran so many marathons. Where'd it go? I saw something. Yeah, she says, I've run 36 marathons and just take each as you. Where she was answering the question about how heat. She goes, I run 36 and just take each as you feel. It's been 86 degrees. First Boston in 2017. That was a hot year. And to 36 degrees and pouring rain. Oh goodness, that would just, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to run today. That's like my blind spot. I can't handle that. I could not handle that at all. Oh boy. Frank says, like, this kind of route sounds like it's running in Mario Kart. It does sound bizarre. Hmm. Oh, and Vegan Runner says, it's all before the start line for Virgin London Marathon. Okay. All right. I see. Thomas Villa says, the high bridge in New York, runners are upper management and the low bridge is the workers. And then, where'd it go? Martha says the low route is steerage. That's where, like, Leonardo DiCaprio is, right? Martha says, you know when you're talking about people pissing on the bridge, it's on guys. Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Jess says, drink a Slurpee if it's hot. It's almost as good as water submersion. Really? I guess so. I mean, that'd be amazing. Can you imagine if someone was like, handed you like a Slurpee in the middle of a marathon? That'd be amazing. Because not only would it keep you really cool, it would also like just give you so much sugar because of all this cola that's in there, right? Like a Coke flavored Slurpee. That would be delicious. I think I want that. I mean, I don't know how you would have to do. You'd have to have a 7-Eleven right on the course, and then just have someone running in and out and just constantly getting them because otherwise it would melt, you know. But that'd be great. I feel like that was a missed opportunity at the Diamond League Marathon in Dubai. They ran that thing at like midnight, and they made everyone swallow those those thermometer pills, so they could keep track of everyone's internal temperatures. Did you guys watch that? Yeah, it was. I mean, I feel like they should have had like one person. I feel like all events should just have like a normal person running, and the normal person could have tried to keep cool with a Slurpee. Although then, I think that like, if that's what happened, then you'd be like, well, of course he had a bad race. He drank a Slurpee in the middle. Let's see. Carlos, I will do two more and then I gotta get going for the day. Carlos Grove says, does filming while running affect your pace much? Yeah, it does a little bit. It always changes my pace as soon as the camera turns on for some reason, and my running buddy always teases me about it. If we're going slow, I end up speeding up. But if I'm going faster, I end up slowing down. I think there's like just like a pace that like my body likes when the camera's on. Just with all like the stuff that I'm kind of like doing, I don't know. So it does affect pace a little bit, and then you're also just carrying a weight. I don't think it's heavier than a speed flask. Like when people put like a water bottle in their hand, people are like, "How do you run with all that weight?" And I'm like, "You're running with 16 ounces of liquid in your hand. It's lighter than that. So I mean, it's weight, but you know, it's not crazy." There was a time where, you know, Insta360 makes like regular, like consumer grade 360 cameras, and they make giant ones. They make these giant ones that look like the little drones in Star Wars that were on the ice planet. They're real big, that size. And I was thinking, I wonder, it shoots like 8K at 100 frames per second or something crazy like that. And I'm like, I wonder how heavy that is. Could I swing that thing around? Can I run with it? I never ended up getting one because they're like $3,000. Yeah. And then the last one that I wanted to come to was Aaron. Aaron Siegel says, coming down to Chicago from Denver, how much boost should I expect from the lower elevation? I've been to elevation like 2 times. I've never trained at it or lived at elevation, which I think is probably the more relevant thing to think about. So I really don't know personally. But the thing that I'll warn you about is it's going to be humid. I think it's going to be humid this weekend. And so I don't know if those cancel out. But I think that one of the things that I think is going to happen is a lot of people that are coming from dry climates are going to get here and think they're going to have perfect running conditions, and they're going to be like, I don't know why I was so tired and having such a hard time breathing. I think that's the thing. The difference in like air humidity is gonna. If it, I mean, hopefully it clears. It's supposed to rain in a couple days, so hopefully that clears out the humidity long enough for us to have a good race on Sunday. But I think it's gonna be a little bit humid, so I wouldn't expect a giant bump. I think it's gonna cancel some of that out a little bit. Yeah. All right, I think that's where I'm gonna end it for today, guys. Tomorrow's video, I'm not sure what tomorrow's video is going to be. We may or may not have a video tomorrow, but we'll do a live stream. I want to try to do some marathon myths. I don't know. I feel like we already went over some of the good ones today, but and you know what? I don't know. Yeah, we'll try. We'll try to do some It'll be marathon-based trivia for sure. I'm not sure what, but we'll play a game tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you then. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.